Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Cinema Regulars, where we see so many films in theaters that the employees know us by name, and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Today, we are looking at the three new movies to hit the screen. We are looking at starting off with Dumb Money, and then we are moving on to The Creator. That's a big one. We've been looking forward to that one for a long time. And then we are going to finish off with the so long awaited Saw X. It's been a while since we've seen actual John Kramer, Tobin Bell in the mix again. It's going to be interesting breaking that one down today.
Oh yeah.
So let's get this thing rolling, and we will start off with Dumb Money. So Dumb Money, basically, if you didn't already know, is about the whole GameStop stock debacle that happened in 2020 to 2021. How there was the one guy on Reddit and YouTube who was pushing all for people to buy the GameStop stocks to short the hedge fund people so that they lost like millions upon billions of dollars, while everyone who was just doing little odds and ends stuff on Robinhood and other apps like that actually could get some money out of this. And then it got too big, and then they started losing too much money, and then the lawsuits came in and they started playing unfair, and yeah, the whole thing. If you don't already know about that, I mean, it was only like 3 to 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
um so that's basically what this movie's about. It kind of twisted it into a comedy aspect to it, which
hmm
was weird. um So yeah, that sums it up. This was an interesting thing because it's the first time that we've seen a movie based off of true events that we actually A, lived through, and B, knew about as it was happening.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to watch a movie about recent history.
Yeah,
Like l-
because I was watching it and those things, I was just like, I remember that. It's like, oh, I hope they bring up this point about what happened. Like, I hope they don't forget to bring in this part.
yeah, you probably knew a lot more about it than I did going into this, but I still knew about it. Like
Yeah,
you would
I mean, it
almost
was
have to
everywhere.
yeah, you would almost have to have been living under a rock 3 years ago.
Patrick moment. Yeah, I'm glad that they brought in the Robin Hood aspect of that, because like that was one of the biggest things that pissed me off, is that Robin Hood, the app, just said, no, you can't buy it anymore. And that completely destroyed the whole thing. They
Well,
just
it
like
could
cock blocked everyone from buying it, and there was even reports of people who had their stocks sold without their consent. Like they just
yes.
started selling other people's stocks, and I'm surprised that that didn't make it into the movie. But
I'm gonna guess it didn't make it into the movie because there were reports, but there was no I don't think there was ever any concrete evidence that actually
the
happened.
evidence, I have the evidence. It's not in my bank account anymore. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um. So looking at the movie itself,
hmm
I don't know if you had the same reaction I did, but I was very disappointed and annoyed with this movie.
Oh no, same here. Like I honestly, there wasn't much about this movie that I enjoyed really.
Exactly. Because I'm annoyed because, like, and very disappointed because it's a interesting topic for a movie.
hmm
Like, to put like this out there, first of all, it's dangerous. Second
Oh
of
yeah.
all, like it's something interesting that happened. Like this should have been like a more serious movie. And then immediately out the gate they ruin it by starting the movie off with wet ass pussy.
Uh,
So
yeah, and they
immediately you're just like, oh, so this is not a serious thing.
dog. That song is the reason we walked out of Joyride.
Uh,
Like,
we agreed never to speak of Joyride.
fair enough. I apologize.
Yeah, so you're on timeout, Mister.
I have my bad.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, they used Wet Ass Pussy. They used like another Megan the Stallion song. They used it like twice. There's so many times they reused songs. I think they couldn't afford to get too many songs. They had like a bunch of shitty songs, and then they had Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, and then out of nowhere they had a Darko and Josh A song in the middle of that.
At 21.
Yeah, 21 by Darko and Josh A. What? 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 What
Yeah,
is
like
this?
soundtrack for this movie made no fucking sense. None
And
whatsoever.
then, oh my god, I completely forgot about this one. I tried to tune it out. There was one part don't remember where it was. They were like at like a club or something or having a party or whatever, and the music was just terrible. It was like some guy like
Oh,
with
yeah.
smoker's breath, just like fucking like into the thing. Like I had to like plug my ears, and I leaned over to you, and I'm just like, bro, who stuffed the aux cord in their asshole? This is it's like it was horrible to listen to. Like it was like diarrhea to the ears. Like I
It was
couldn't
horrible.
handle
It
it.
was not coherent. Like I could not
I
pick
don't
out
even
a
want to.
single word.
I don't even want to know what it was because like in order to do that, I'd have to look it up and then double check to make sure it's what I heard, and I don't want to listen to that again. Uh,
And can we also
my
agree,
yeah,
like,
we
moving
could.
away from
Depends on what.
a moving from away from music, casting in this movie was freaking weird.
Yeah,
Like,
I really like Paul Dano.
Paul Dano is a really good
'Cause
actor.
I'm a big fan of Swiss Army Man. That has
Mhm.
been my number one favorite movie for a while,
He's
and I'm
good in
not even sure if
Fablemans.
that's. Yeah, he was good in Fablemans. He was a brilliant Riddler.
Still have to watch that movie.
Yeah, you do, and you're a goon. But yeah, so he was great. Everything about Paul Dano's character was great. Um,
I think he
I'm
portrayed the guy actually very well.
yeah, very well, very well. I'm don't know if I'm in alone and in the dark on this, but especially as of late, I'm not feeling Seth Rogen anymore.
He's trying to be serious again, and I don't like it. He's trying to be
Is
taken
he?
serious. Okay, let me rephrase that. He's
Because
trying to be taken as a serious actor.
the last thing we saw him in was him plastering his name all over the Ninja Turtles movie, and that movie was Booty Hole, and he literally called himself Perpetual Child Seth Rogen, or
Yeah,
Perpetual Teenager Seth Rogen. So I don't even want to get into Pete Davidson in this thing. I don't even know what
he
his
didn't need to
character was
be
supposed to
there.
be.
He's there
He
for
would.
the. He's there to get white bitches to watch this movie.
That's probably true. Um, I think the only reason that character's in the movie is because he has a brother in real life, and no other reason.
No one else wanted to be in this. There's just some other actors in this movie that's just why, like Shailene Woodley's in this movie, which doesn't mean
I
anything
don't
to
know who
you, but
it
like
doesn't.
it's the girl who
I don't
plays
know.
his wife. She was I want to say the character's name is Hazel. I think I'm wrong on that. Whatever. She was the
You can
girl
want to
in
say whatever, but
she was the girl in The Fault in Our Stars.
okay.
And okay, you might not think that that's great, but that was a big movie when it came out. Like that movie
No, I'm not
was.
denying that it is. I'm just laughing that you know that.
Oh, okay, I have a sister who was
Uh-huh.
actually a girl, so
Um, whoa. Hey, that's rare nowadays.
I know. But anyway, but anyway,
Yeah, there was not a lot to like about this movie. Like
no.
there was a lot of moments where I was just like, ugh, really? Like, ugh. Like every time they played With Us Pussy, every time they played Megan Thee Stallion song, there's a random quick scene where they just fucking rode AOC's dick for no reason. Like, oh, fuck, I just said his name. The wet cigarette guy.
Davidson?
Yeah, Pete Davidson. Yeah, like there's a scene where Pete Davidson, like, he's watching the trial and the AOC, the congresswoman, who's very, very not well liked by anyone, especially in her own community. Um, and he literally just says, "Oh, I want to marry her," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, marry me," and I'm like, "What the
I missed that.
dude? Come
Wait,
on."
is that talking about like the chick that was like grilling the Robin Hood guy?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's she's in. I know you don't pay as much attention to politics as I
no.
do, but she is a fucking moron.
I kind of gathered by the way she was questioning.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably like her only moment is when they do that. But to be fair, they did drop the lawsuit altogether and like nothing happened.
Nothing
I mean,
happened
they
there.
lost
The only thing that happened
I
was
mean,
is
to be fair, they all lost a shit ton of money and lost their hedge funds and their companies, but like legally, they didn't face any repercussions, I don't think.
oh they didn't face any repercussions at all. I was actually reading up some more on the way home because like I wanted to double check facts from the movie and all that. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of cool because like the stock did bounce back.
It did. That was good.
Like
But
it
like,
came back.
yeah. I also want to point out there was only one good joke in the movie, and it wasn't good enough for me to remember what it was.
You
I
remember
remember
about where
one
it
time during the
was?
movie. No, no. I remember one time, like, you actually, like, you fully lulled, you laughed out loud, actually. And then I was like, okay, that's a good joke. But then, like, I
Oh, it's funny.
have
I
no
can't even
idea what that was. I
remember.
cannot. Right? It wasn't funny enough to remember, but it was, like, the only good thing. And I remembered the fucking beach ball joke in Camp Hideout, and I couldn't
Well,
remember what
I
this
mean,
one was.
I did. I
Like
did.
I was standing at the urinal in the bathroom on the way out, and I'm like, I don't remember what that joke was. Like we just left the theater, and I didn't remember what it was.
There was a lot with like background stuff that didn't really seem to be needed for the movie. Like,
Are you talking about like all the side characters who were also betting on the stocks? Because I did not care about any of them, and
the only one I
their
sort of
stories did
maybe
not impact it at all.
the only one I sort of kind of a little bit cared about was the nurse. That was about it.
Yeah, I guess. Like
But what I was
I
talking. Go ahead.
think they just put that in there. I think they just put those in there because otherwise it wouldn't have been a long enough movie if they just focused on Paul Dano's character.
Well, the other reason why they put that in there is so that way they could have physical representations of the people
That's true.
behind
That's
like
true. Of like
because
the other
the
people
it's the
who's
other side because it wasn't just all him, it was the entire
yeah.
internet, so they needed to have different different perspectives from actual people during the event kind of thing.
I
I don't know. This movie was just like so both all over the place and just kind of random a lot of the times in the terms of what it was setting up and things like that.
yeah. One more thing I want to get into because we are going a pretty long time on this one movie.
Fair enough.
We got two others to get to. One more thing I want to point out is that I will give this movie props because it has done the one thing that every single other movie in existence has failed to do, and that is to accurately represent memes.
Yes.
Because every single time a movie, we just saw this with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, but every time a movie says like, "Oh, I got memed," or "Look at this meme," what they do every single time without failure is this: they just make rainbows come out of their mouth in a GIF. That's all. That's what they think. That's what people who make movies think memes are. But this one, like, they were
They
calling
actually,
themselves they were calling themselves retards in the memes, and I'm just like, yes, they
no, they
used
actually
real
took
memes,
screen grabs
like
from
the
Reddit.
yeah, they took actual memes. They had like the guys with the coffin doing the dance, like that was a real meme, and they did like actual meme formats, and they did real things. Like even if they made some up, like they did it accurately.
The
Like
video, the video that they've showed, like after, like when things are blowing up, and they were talking about like the video of the guy like talking over like rockets and stuff going into space, and like they're putting
yeah,
like people's faces. I remember watching that video.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I
that,
saw that too.
that was an actual
And
video
that
that they put in the
so
movie.
probably why they represented memes so accurately is because they took the real ones. They
Yeah.
didn't make up their own. They didn't just have the uh they didn't have Paul Dano like puke out rainbows like every single fucking meme does. Ugh.
It was like
They don't know what memes
that was
are.
good. Like that was the good
Yeah.
part of the movie.
Yeah, that was a good part. All right. So wrapping this up now, heading over to the rankings.
Yep.
I I'm sad to say this about a Paul Dano led movie, but I'm going to have to slot this one down at a 4. Just cause like there was on its own, it would have been a 5, maybe a 6 on a good day, but like there was just too much stuff I didn't like that just was had a bad taste in my mouth that just dropped it down to all that. If it didn't have this stuff I didn't like in it, the best it could have done was a 5 anyway. So it just, yeah, I was not feeling this one, and that kind of makes me sad because I thought this could have been something cool, but unfortunately it was not.
Yeah, I slotted I slotted this down at like actually at like a high 3.
Really, damn, that's a
Yeah,
first. I think maybe for the channel, me ranking something higher than you.
yeah,
Don't quote
actually.
me on that because that's probably wrong. But like,
It might
it's
be.
weird that it's usually you. It's usually you who bumps something up higher than I do. But
Yeah, this movie
yeah,
I didn't enjoy watching.
uh, that's kind of sad because my brother brought home the poster for Dumb Money.
Oh,
And after the movie, I was gonna ask you if you wanted it, but you ranked it lower than I did.
no, I don't want that, honestly. Like this movie like alone, the music choice alone bump the movie down a full number from what it normally would be anyway. Like,
Yeah.
cause I always start
There
at a
was two.
5 going into a movie, and I go up or down based on like how the movie progresses.
Okay,
And
interesting.
like the music itself bumped it down to a 4. And then just my general dislike of the movie. Again, it was still cool to see something that we lived through up on a screen, but it just
But
wasn't
the
entertaining.
ex they executed it in the most annoying way possible, I think.
Yes, they did not execute it well, like at all.
Damn.
Like
All
again,
right.
the best thing they did was they represented the memes, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, so that's that, and we will be moving on to the creator. All right, so the creator.
Yes.
Run through a brief summary on this one too. Basically, it's about AI that has launched a nuclear bomb on Los Angeles. Personally, I couldn't blame them.
Nope. Doing their job to protect me.
Yeah. They were designed to protect us, and the first thing they did was nuke Los Angeles. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no. Anyways, so what happens is the AI is kind of treated as like a threat now, like the Western world is at war with the AI, which is robots.
Mhm.
There's regular robots with like machine heads, and then there's the synths, which are robots that look like people with
The
people faces.
simulants, I think is what they called them.
Yeah, the simulants. Yeah, simulants or yeah. And basically so they sent it the one guy, the main guy, in to do some undercover stuff and try to find out where the creator of the super advanced AI is. And uh, eventually, he goes in and he finds the new weapon that the creator's working on, and it's a child. It's a little AI in a child, and it's designed to take out the big giant space station thing that they have that they use to like nuke all the AI bases.
Hmm.
And it's this, and it's kind of generally that kind of story from there on. That's what it's about. Is the guy who's sent in to destroy this weapon, but the weapon's a child,
Mm.
so he doesn't want to do that, and then he kind of
Changes
takes
his
care of
mind
it.
and all that.
Yeah. Um, that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about is that I noticed this sitting in the movie theater that this is kind of your run of the mill um edgy not edgy but like brooding um guy with dead family
Hmm.
who has to take care of a child who is special for some reason
Mm.
and doesn't want to at first but then grows to like the child.
Hmm.
You see that trope a lot, especially nowadays. You have
Yeah,
Last of Us, you have Mandalorian, you have
like
it's just
literally,
like one of those things.
like no joke. You bring up Mandalorian, and that's one of the things I was gonna bring up. Is there's literally like they separated the movie into those chapters, and one of them was just called The Child, and I'm like, that's literally what they fucking called Baby Yoda for the longest time.
That's true.
Like that's
Um,
literally what that was, and I'm like, that's one of the reasons I was kind of disappointed with this movie. Like I'm gonna bring my feelings out right away. Like this, I was kind of expecting something more than just that.
yeah. Um, to summarize my feelings on the movie, um, the visual effects and the sound design were fan fucking tastic. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think they could have gotten any better. The
no, they
robots
couldn't.
all looked amazing. Like the metalhead robots looked amazing. The
The simulants.
simulants with the human faces, it was like blended perfectly well. It looked
Yeah.
so good. But plot wise, I was a little disappointed. Like I thought that there was going to be a little bit more to it than what was there.
Yeah. Like the
So
story wasn't
it's a
much more
good
than the trailer.
yeah, honestly, yeah. And even the big twist that they put in there was very obvious. Like at
Hmm.
the end, my brother like turned to both of us and he was just like, "All right, did you guys guess the big twist like immediately?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very obvious."
The one thing I love that you find out in the movie, it makes me sad that they kind of said this because it is that the whole they nuked Los Angeles, like the joke we've been making for months while watching this. It wasn't
It's like,
even
well,
their
can't
fault.
blame them.
It wasn't even their
Yeah,
fault. It was a coding error that had it happened, and they just blamed it on the AI instead of taking responsibility for it.
dude, imagine you're like a coding expert for like U.S. national arms, and you put a zero in the wrong place, and it nukes Los Angeles.
You put a zero when you were
Dude, he forgot a closing bracket in one line of text, and now
he accidentally replaced it replaced something with an ampersand.
California is a myth.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
worst part of California is a myth.
That's true. That's true.
But I will agree with you. Sound design, visual effects, especially considering this movie was made on an $80 million budget, the effects were
Yeah, it was
amazing.
pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah.
That's actually on the low side for a movie these
I
days.
Yeah. So I want to point out like little bits that I thought were done very well. Um,
Go ahead.
the Nomad, the giant space station that they had in. First
Yeah,
of
that's
all, it looked
cool.
boss. That thing was fucking cool. And
I
then
love
like
that.
the targeting system where you
Oh,
had like the thin beams of blue light just casting down onto the surface of the earth, and then it like
and it
changes
just
and like it moves. That looked really cool.
it just floats over the terrain was really cool.
Yeah. The coolest visual thing I think is that when one of the simulant robots got shot in the head,
Oh yeah, I was
and
gonna
then
bring
there
that
was
up.
just like that crater of his face was left, and he just kept on moving for a little while. I don't know if he just fell, collapsed. I don't remember, but like all I remember his head exploding, and then they
He had a
gave
head,
you
he
like the
had a
visual
face, and then
leftover of
he
that.
didn't.
Yeah. There was a scene where okay, so every time they dropped like a bomb from the Nomad, it you felt it,
Yeah.
and that was fucking awesome. But there was one scene where one AI base was communicating with the one that was going to get bombed, so they had him over the radio, and then they were like screaming indistinctly, and then you see like the explosion in the distance, and like the sound of the explosion hasn't reached them yet. So you see the big orange fireball, and at the same time the radio just goes dead static, and then you get hit with the explosion sound.
Like it was so good.
I I thought that was very well done.
It was very
Um,
well done.
unfortunately, there's not too much I can say positive wise about the plot, or
No,
even like
there really
negative
isn't.
wise. It's just kind of there. It's kind of
Generic.
middle of the road. I think because
The
Disney
best
wouldn't let
line
us
they had in
use
the
any like
Go ahead.
special Disney wouldn't let us use any special passes or anything, at least for the first 2 weeks to see this movie. So we had to
Mm-hmm.
pay full price on a non Tuesday, which was
Mm-hmm.
really gay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm thinking that they tried to make this such a visual spectacle that they were
They were
trying to
trying to do the
distract you
Avatar
from
thing.
how. Yeah, they were trying to make. Well, no, because Avatar, like the plot was kind of okay,
Yeah.
but they were trying to make the visuals like so spectacular that it would distract you from noticing that the plot was kind of weak.
Yeah. What happens when you write a movie without
Um,
writers, man?
yeah, I guess. Um,
But I got nothing else I gotta say about this. If you want to move on to the rankings.
I'm kind of squeezed out on this. You know, I was hoping for more, and I got
Mm-hmm.
a little less. So I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed in the creator.
Yeah. I'll I can start off a bit with my ranking. Uh
Yeah, go ahead.
I I gave this movie a 5.
Really?
Like
Even wow. Okay.
like there were so many moments, like not a single moment during this movie was I actually actively engaged
Mhm.
in like what was going on. Like I just kind of oohed and
Mhm.
awed at the special effects, and that was it. It was just a movie. Like even though the super like normally the effects would give it a bump, because I do have to say I cannot say enough about the effects in this movie. The effects in this movie were gorgeous. They were amazing. The
Mhm.
cinematography was excellent. It's just I wasn't engaged in it.
That's
It's the
true.
same
That's fair.
it's the same it was sort of the problem that Jurassic World had. The Jurassic World Dominion. I just wasn't engaged in what was going on.
I wouldn't even say that about Jurassic World Dominion. I fell asleep.
Same here.
I'm gonna go ahead. I was actually um very far off from you. I was giving this like a very okay, I was going to give this a 7 out of 10 for this one. If I was going to give it out of 100, it would be like a 73 or like a 720 like a
Mhm.
72.5, like 7 and a quarter is what I mean. Like it's very low end of 7, but yeah, again, because like plot wise, it's mid. Okay, like
Mhm.
this would be a 5 movie, but then I think the visuals and the sound effects are like enough to go see it specifically for those.
Mhm.
Like if you're looking at this movie as like a showcase of special effects and sound design rather than a
A
plot
movie.
and characters to care about, like a movie, yeah, it'd be a much better um
I think it's mostly
experience.
I think what mostly drove it to a 5 as well is I went into this movie expecting something nice, and I was
Yeah, I
disappointed.
mean they dropped like the hardest line of all time in the trailers.
Yeah, like that was the only really good line in the movie.
Yeah, it just says like, "Are you?" She asks him, "Are you going to heaven?" He says, "No, you got to be a good person to go to heaven." She says, "So then we're the same because we can't go to heaven because you're not good and I'm not a person." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Damn, that
like
kind of hard." And then,
th- this movie had a
I
bad
mean, I
case of
liked the.
traileritis.
It did, yeah, it did. So yeah, that'll wrap up Creator. Pretty early, sad to say.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wish from the bottom of my heart that we had more to talk about this movie, but we are moving on
But it's okay that we don't have a
to
lot to talk about, because holy crap, do we have a lot to say about the new Saw X movie.
oh yeah, let's get into this. Isaac, you
So,
wanted to do the recap, the summary for this one, so
yes,
I'll let
I've
you
actually
kick
been
that
thinking
off.
about how I'm going to do it like all day.
Okay.
So, Saw X. It is a prequel to the entire series, starting happening before the
Hmm.
first happening before the first movie, where John Kramer, our boy Jigsaw, just finds out that he has months left to live, so he goes down to Mexico to try this experimental surgery to get his uh cancer taken care of, so that way he
Answer.
can continue his work. And they lie to him and say that they were going to do this, and they didn't. And well, these guys have about the worst luck in the
They
world,
bamboozled
because
them.
yeah, they have the worst luck in the world, because out of all the people in the world that they could have pissed off, they picked Jig frickin' Saw. So, like, you can only imagine how the rest of the movie goes for those people. And
Not well.
not well, no. And that's really all you really need to know about the movie. People, they fucked up and he punished them.
Well, you also got to keep in mind that it wasn't just him. Like they had the rap sheet. Like they've done this to like 32 other people's. Like I think they said
Yes.
that they went back. They were doing this for 8 years. They've been doing this to
Yes.
people.
Yes, they did say that. Yeah. So it wasn't just him. It's basically they picked the wrong person. He was able to dig up more on them, realize that they were, worthy of his games and went from there.
Yeah, they needed it.
Cuz okay, so
Um,
basically what I just said was pretty much most of the first half of the movie, like before they do all the traps and stuff that they normally do.
right. Because that's something that was different about this one is that they had a lot of setup.
Yes, because it was more
Like they didn't
personal.
just. Well, it was more personal by design because I noticed this aspect. They made John Kramer the protagonist of this movie.
Yes,
Because
which does not.
all the other Saw movies, there's like other secondary characters who are working against or with Jigsaw that are the protagonist, but it's
He's usually the
Jigsaw
antagonist.
himself, right? The antagonist or just some other, or he's dead. Either that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you really get to connect with him this time. You get to like experience his story. Like you were kind of on his side this time,
Yeah.
regardless of whether you were or not the other movies. But this time you were definitely supposed to be rooting for Jigsaw. And
Yeah. That was
I
a
in the
really cool
theater,
aspect.
yeah, in the theater, I was thinking because during the games, he and all right, um, moving into slight spoiler section. We're not going to spoil too much, but just a little things that are going to that either alluded to in the trailers or just kind of basic knowledge um from here. So Amanda's in this. We knew that from the trailers, but like she's a bigger part than the 1 second that she was in the trailer for.
Mhm.
She's like side by side with Jigsaw because Jigsaw's getting ready to like have her take his place because he's going to be dying in a few months. And I gotta say, she looks like shit. I mean, no
Mhm.
offense, but she does. She's like 50 or
Mhm.
something, and like you can definitely see it in her face. It's not looking good. She's got the Oliver Tree cut.
Oliver, freaking Oliver Tree
Yeah,
cut.
that's what it is. She's got the
She got the
brown
on.
bowl cut. I forgot what I was circling back to. Oh yeah. So I noticed this in the theater. I didn't like it at first that he was like the two of them were there. They were like interacting with the subjects a lot. Like between each test, they would come in and they would like talk with them, and then whatever. I initially didn't like that because it was in the other movies. Like they wake up in the room, they see the videotape or they play the little tape. They're introduced to their situation. They're given the exact rules. They're given their time limit, and the games begin. So they eventually they stop screaming for help and they just get with the program and start doing the thing right
Mhm.
there. But with them there, like the contestants, like the whole time the game is, but through all the stages they're like begging them, was like, please, you have to help me, just let me go, just blah 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 blah. Like they don't get with the program. They keep like begging him to stop or begging his help or whatever. But I
Mhm.
understand that that's integral, and that's
Integral.
necessary. That's necessary for the character of Jigsaw in this one and for the plot of the movie.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been going on a log. You can say some things now.
Okay, so like one thing I have to say off the bat, the sound design in this Saw movie is fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like the sounds of like, okay, so are we allowed to go in depth on some of the traps?
I think we'll do like a section of the trap for just the traps a little bit later.
That's fair. That's
'Cause
fair. But like
I'd want to tackle those chronologically one at a time.
that's fair. So like scenes where like people are having to do stuff, like stuff we saw in the trailer
Yeah,
and things like that. Like I'm just gonna put it this way: like the sounds of flesh in this movie are insane. Like this is the first Jigsaw movie
yeah,
that actually had me cringing.
yeah. I know. I did that too. Like there was one in particular. We'll get to that in a minute. But like I had to I had to like close my eyes and like kind of like turn my head away. I'm like just like, dude, it's too much. And like that, like I don't
No,
get like
it's
that. I don't know if I don't. We saw it in ultra screen, so I don't know if like this one was just like super
it's all. This is the
immersive
first
or
one I've ever
something.
seen in
But
theaters.
well, I saw Jigsaw and Spiral in theaters, but like all the other ones I saw at home or whatever. But like I don't know. There was just something about this one. I don't know if it was the ultra screen experience or the
No,
actual
it's the fact that
content.
it's Jigsaw back. That's what it is. We
Maybe,
haven't had John Kramer
maybe.
Jigsaw himself actually running a game for a while. And like,
This
dang,
one's Jigsaw.
did he step it up for this? Like it's so good.
Yeah.
So let's
I wanna actually start running through the traps now before this
that's
part
what
of
I
it
was gonna bring up,
gets too
yes.
long. So the
I have
first
literally nothing
one.
else to say about the movie.
Well, yeah, I do, but well, I'll save that for the end. So the first trap that they
That's fair.
have is one that I got excited for because I saw it on the posters. It's the one where there's the tubes go coming out of the guy's eyes, and then it's forms the X. And I saw a clip online,
Oh,
and I
it's
said,
so good.
Isaac, I'm gonna make this so much more terrifying because those tubes like secured to the guy's eyes in the poster, those are vacuum tubes. And immediately
Yeah.
you did the noise, you did the thing.
Oh,
No, the
I
noise
got
you did
excited.
you did the
Oh yeah. 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 I got
that's
excited for after I got over that, I got so excited.
you were like oh yeah, like I got excited for that too, and
Yeah.
that did pay off. And I know a lot of people are gonna piss and moan about this trap in particular for one reason, but
I
like
loved this.
I
This was
think that
so
added to it.
cool.
It was so basically, it was in the hospital. There was some guy who was he was asleep or in a coma or something, and there was like an
He was in
orderly
a
that
coma.
was like he was fingering through his belongings, like he found his watch, and he found like some gold stuff or whatever, and he was gonna take that, and he was grabbing it, and it smash cuts to Jigsaw looks at the coma guy, and he's got like his fingers in a brace so they can like reform back to, because I don't know if he was in like some kind of accident, they
Mhm.
don't tell you, but his fingers are like held on
Yeah.
with straps and secured like that.
Yep.
So it smash cuts to the trap with the guy. He's got the eyeball vacuum tubes, and he's got the straps hooked up to his fingers, and he's got to turn a knob on the other side with his other hand, all the way to 5, and with each click to each number, it breaks one of his fingers backwards, one by one,
Yeah.
and he only gets the first 3 done before he can't take it anymore, and the thing sucks his eyeballs out. And then you get the reveal. It zooms back out, and that was all in Jigsaw's imagination. And the orderly puts the watch back in the sees Jigsaw looking at him. He puts the watch and stuff back in the drawer and walks out the room. And John Kramer like nods at him. He says, "Good choice." And I'm like, "Boy, you know it." So that was all in his head.
Dog, you do not know what you do not know what bullet you just dodged, my guy. Like, oh my god.
I do. I know what bullet he just dodged. He almost got his eyeball sucked out and half his
Yeah.
fingers broken. So
Like, that
that
was oh good.
yeah, a lot of people are gonna complain. It's just like, oh, that was a fake out. It didn't really happen. But no, it gives you an insight, a look into John Kramer's brain. Like he immediately sees the injustice happening, notices other things around the room, like the finger braces that he can use in his trap, like to symbolically connect him to what he done. To break his sticky fingers, the 5-finger discount work in the orderlies. That went all through his mind in the matter of like a minute, maybe, or a few seconds. And that I thought that was cool.
The fact that he's able to sit there and like immediately run through all that is so cool. And it also makes a lot of the movies make sense.
Right.
Because
How
you're
he
sitting
do
here,
shit like
like
that.
you also look at the movies, like he's only alive for like 3 of them.
Right.
Spoiler alert. And like, but like the amount of stuff that he does in those 3 movies, and you're like, he doesn't start this till he's already has cancer.
Yeah.
Like the whole reason he starts doing this is because he finds out he has cancer, gets in a car accident, and then like he survived.
Mhm.
So he's like, oh, the
Yeah.
human will to survive is something to take into account. So he starts doing it this way.
All right,
And like,
dog. We got a lot of traps. We don't need to recover Saw 1.
no, that's fine. It's just really cool. It's a really cool insight. It explains a lot in the lore of Saw.
Right.
Sorry.
All right,
Anyway,
we're gonna do some popcorn here. I'll let you take the next one.
yeah. Well, can I actually have the one after this one, please? Actually, that's fine. I'll do the next one.
Okay.
I'll do this one. It's fine. No. So this trap, the second trap was the Oh wait, no, never mind. We'll land on the one I want anyways, so we're good. I forgot about this
the
trap.
pipe bombs.
I forgot about the pipe bombs. Yes. So Jigsaw has to go after a lot of people for this movie. So he goes after first the driver that individually he goes after the driver that took him to the fake medical center. And what he does is he takes pipe bombs and he like with galvanized wires like hooks them onto the dude's arms, and he like duct tapes his hands shut like with scalpels attached to the end, and he has to use the scalpels to cut the frickin' like through his flesh to get the wires off of his body and like get the bombs away from him. And he has what was it, like 60 seconds or was it like 2 minutes?
It was 3 minutes, I
It was
believe.
3 minutes. Yeah, it's 3 minutes. And like first off, just the fact that he like that trap is so like good, like visceral, it even though it's a really simple trap, because like he's digging into his flesh.
Yeah, the gore
and
in this
like
one was
seeing
really
his
good.
hands,
It was like squelching and
like
it was gross.
Yeah. Like seeing his hand, like him not having access to his hands. Like he's just got blades. That's all he has.
Well, I think he was
like
holding them. I think he was holding them in his hands, and then they were duct taped, like closed, so he couldn't move them out of there.
Well, yeah, no, that's what it is. Like I figured
so he had
that.
like
But what I mean is
he had a decent grip on it. He just couldn't let go of them.
Like that is, like it's a very simple trap, but those are some of the best ones Like I like those ones because like it's just do it, dude. You know, you got to do it. Like okay, I know I say it like that, and it's like yeah, that would be horrible. Like because at the end his arms are totally fucked up. You know what's crazy though? I thought the trap was gonna be something completely different because I was sitting there thinking that those wires went through his radius, like in between his radius and his ulna.
That would have been good.
That's what I thought. But then I'm like, he only has the knives. Like it's just hooked into his flesh.
And that guy lived. He passed. He passed the test.
He did. He passed.
The pipe bombs exploded, but he'll be fine, I guess.
Which is kind of interesting. Because if he hadn't lived, like he was kind of integral to the plot of the movie, because he gave him like information that he used later in the movie.
I'm sure he probably could got it somewhere else. I mean, he did call in Detective Hoffman.
Fair enough.
So he could have given like
that
a
was
bunch
more
of
to
information.
Down.
Yeah, that might be a plot hole right there. Like if he had not survived, he wouldn't have got the information. But I feel like
he'd have figured it out eventually.
Yeah. Next trap.
Anyway, moving on.
Next trap is when they actually get the people responsible, and they're all in the room.
What we see in the trailer.
In the trailer, yep. This one I do have a gripe with, and I have the same gripe with the next trap that you're gonna cover. And I think you already know what the gripe is. So this trap is, the nurse has to, use like a garrote wire, like a wire saw, and she has to cut through her thigh, like bottom up, straight through, like slice it off. And then she has to put a tube in her leg bone and then suck out like a certain, like 3 ounces of bone marrow, and then it'll go off into like a little strainer, and then it'll, if she puts enough in there in 3 minutes, she lives. She cuts her leg off. She gets literally like 0.1% less than she needs before the timer goes off. Like she did it. She did the thing. All she had to do was just sit there and put the thing in. Like at that point, it was just whether or not the machines could suck out enough before the time went off, and then it just didn't. So she kind of just lost against the clock. And
well,
then,
I think that's part of the problem. Like that's part of the point.
What do you mean?
Like she needed to get it. If she had done it faster, she would have done it.
Right, but
like
I mean,
she did pause a lot.
I mean, to be fair, she did
Which I
do
get.
it. She had already done it. Like it literally, there was like a needle on a meter, and it was going really slow, and then it just didn't get there before the clock thing, and then there was like a more saw wire that just like cut straight through her neck, and her head fell off. So that's my gripe, is that she only lost because the needle didn't move fast enough against the clock, and then like she did the thing you wanted to, and it was just
she just didn't get enough.
Yeah, the thing, I feel like the traps themselves to register the victory shouldn't also be on their own timer. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Because to be fair, those ones are their only one, really.
Yeah. I mean, because
that one and then the next one.
She did the thing.
But I will say, again, the sound design, like the sound of her cutting her own leg off, like the like the freaking squelching and all that was like, oh, so good.
All right.
Like that was very interesting.
Yeah, on to
now
the best trap of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, this is. I did
Undisputed.
want to say that this is the best trap in the movie. So, the next trap, this guy is like he's like strapped to it, like his neck is connected to this chair. Like he can't move away from the chair. And what he has to do is he has to cut open his skull. He's got like a top down view of his head, and they have like a part of his hair shaved off and like an outline for him to follow. He has to
Mhm.
cut open his skull, take some of his brain matter out, put it in a jar,
That
and
was good.
like he has to put enough in there for it for I can only assume it's like measuring like the output of the enzyme dissolving.
He puts
Yeah, go
he
ahead.
puts a piece of his brain in the acid, and when it dissolves enough of it, it'll open up a door, and he gets a key, and he can take the key and unlock himself and get out.
Yeah. But as you can guess, with the gripe from the earlier one,
Hmm.
he doesn't do it in time. And
Well,
the
I wouldn't say he doesn't do it in time. I would say that he did it. He did it fully. He put the piece of brain. This is the thing I had to look away from because it was like there was a lot of blood.
it was it was so good though. Like I loved that.
I would say I gotta say as well, the blood was like a much darker red in this movie than like any other movies that
Oh
uses
yeah,
blood, and like I think that added to it. Just saying,
it was
but like there
really
was a lot
good.
of blood, and then when he went in to like grab the piece of his brain, just like the squelching in that, and just like the really close-ups of like the brain gooshing around. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's in his nog, dude. That's gross. I had to look away, and I was just like,
Yeah, like it was
man,
so
I don't get
good.
squeamish like
And
that
like
about anything, and that
the
just went
coolest
wild.
shot, one of the coolest shots during that is they show you a shot of of like his exposed brain. Like first off,
Hmm.
that's a really cool shot, and I want to know how they did it. And two, well, probably CGI, but like and
No, no,
two,
they
like
actually cut
after he
his
takes
brain
the chunk
open.
of his,
I think.
but like, but like after they took like the chunk of brain out and
Yeah.
like put it in the thing, there was a moment where it cut back to his brain to his brain, like while they were doing all the jump cuts in that, and
Hmm.
like it still had like it was just a cavity in there, and like that was
Yeah.
really cool. Like I like that. But no,
But he gets.
again,
He,
he didn't finish it,
no,
and
he did. He did. He
look,
took the piece of his
well, he
brain
did.
out and he puts it in the solution, and it just didn't dissolve enough
Okay,
in time.
he failed the test. Whatever he means, like he died. He failed and he got the consequence. I understand your gripe. We're gonna move on from that. But he failed in quotations. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these things that were alongside his head, you realize are like heating coils that
Yeah,
start
because they.
heating up.
Yeah, because it just turns red
They
out of
did
the
not
darkness.
Yeah, like you didn't know what the heck this thing was doing. Like you're
I.
like, okay, I see like this is what he has to do, but I didn't understand what it was. But then they just started going red and I'm like, "Oh, that's a heating coil." And then all of a sudden they slam shut on his face and it's this like Mayan Aztec looking thing. And like
Yeah,
it just cooks his freaking head alive. And oh my god, it was so good. The
that
only
was
thing I
good.
don't like is we didn't see an afterward.
Yeah,
Like I
I
was
can
expecting it to
understand that.
open back up and freak everyone else in the room.
Well, I kind of got a callback to the one where they put the key behind that guy's eye, and then the
Yeah.
mask, the Iron Maiden mask, because that's what I thought it was. Because I saw the
Yeah.
two things on the side of his head, and I figured that was gonna close in on his face if he failed. So I thought it was like some kind of Iron Maiden thing. So I was surprised as well when the heating coils turned red, and I was just like, "Oh, we're doing this." Um,
Yeah.
but I like again, I just thought it was gonna slam shut, and then something was gonna happen. I wasn't expecting like an after shot, and I like, and after that, I certainly didn't need it.
Okay, fair
I didn't
enough.
need it, but
What's What's even worse to think about in that scene is at least the dude that got the Venus flytrap, like it just punctured his skull and stuff. But they cooked this man with a hole open in his skull.
that's true. That's true.
Like that after shot would have been wild. Cause
Mhm.
like the brains would have just cooked in his skull and just like over like oh my gosh, they could have done so much with that. But anyway, moving on from
We're
that trap to the
we're at an hour already,
what?
so let's start like speed running these, okay?
Well, we only really have two more traps left to talk about, and I don't think we want to talk too much about the final trap. Do we want
I
to?
do. I have a lot to say about
Okay.
the final trap.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is this next trap that you're gonna recap. By the way, pisses me off. But go ahead.
All right. Um. So this one, they have the um, like the drug addict who was posing as like the maid of the or the service lady
He was
for.
like the nurse.
No, the nurse was the first one. She just like welcomed him to the property and then just showed him to his room.
Fair enough.
Um, but he's got her on a chain around her ankle and a chain around her wrist, and then it lifts her up into the air, and then you see this big machine point right at her, and it's like a radiation thing for like cancer therapy, and it just starts blasting her with radiation, and her thing is that she has to grab her hammer in front of her and just whack at her ankle so it breaks enough to slip out of the chains, and then it swings to the side, like out of the way, because she's not held in that place anymore, and she thinks, "Oh, cool, I got a break." Um, but then the radiation gun turns and points at her again, and it starts like sizzling her skin, like she gets like radiation burns now, and then she like
Hmm.
starts whacking at her wrist until that slips out, and then she falls to the ground. So she passes her test. And
That's amazing. Like that was great.
yeah. So what about it pisses you off?
What pisses me off is what happens after the test.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's about this point where um the next person for the next test is the main lady who's running the show, who's doing the whole she's the kingpin of the scam, the top of the pyramid here.
Mhm.
Um and she kind of takes charge because there was another guy who's a cancer patient that who she was helping right before Jigsaw walked in, and it turns out that he was in cahoots with her, and he showed up, and the two of them like flip the thing on Jigsaw, so they take control of the situation. They get the gun pointed at him, and she goes over, and Jigsaw's like, she passed her test, she needs a hospital, and she's like, no, and she just like stomps on her neck and kills her right there, even though she won. And she's just like,
That genuinely
less
pissed me off.
less people to share the money with, huh? And is what she said, and then I'm like, all right, damn, bitch. Um, so then Isaac's gonna cover this trap,
Hmm.
which I think from here on out is
So
just a friendly reminder that we are in the super duper ending spoiler warning territory. So probably
yes,
only see this
like
part
if
if
you
you've
want,
seen the movie.
yes, you really should only see this part if you have watched the movie because like it is such an impactful moment.
Yeah. So
So
he
go ahead, pause the video now, go see the movie, and then come back.
wow. So she flips the script on Jigsaw and she tells him, uh, I'm the captain now. She says basically, and she puts him in the trap. So Isaac,
Yeah.
run through this trap and take it away here on this bitch.
The whole movie, this bitch has been like chained by her neck by a chain, and like she tells Jigsaw to get in this chain, and like chain yourself up, get up, get up there, and this trap has so while they're messing around with them or whatever, they tell Amanda, because Amanda's still here, by the way. We said that earlier, but she's still here.
Yeah.
They have Amanda chain herself up to like this to one of the other chains that have been used throughout the movie, and they're like about to have John start the next trap when they start hearing this noise, and it cuts to the camera, and it's a little boy that we saw earlier in the movie that was kicking a ball against the building, and she like, you know what, I'm gonna make you suffer, and I'm gonna make you watch an innocent person die. And she brings this kid in, and she hooks him up to the other side of the trap, and they make him activate it. And they make John activate it himself, because the whole point of the traps is that he never activates them. It's always the other person.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. There are a couple traps that break that rule, but we're not even
So
going to go
the
into that.
trap
Anyway,
itself.
yeah, the trap itself. So when he activates it, it slams that it like kind of pulls them to lay on their backs. So they can't so they're like their necks, like their faces are locked in a certain position. In a certain spot. And then the whole platform raises, and down from the ceiling these two big jugs come down from the ceiling, and it starts to pour onto their faces like waterboarding, except it's not water, it's blood. Yeah, because that's dang. And each person in the trap has
Lever.
a lever, and when they pull it to themselves, it like they can either push it or pull it away, and like when they pull it to themselves, it tips the whole platform towards their side, and it shuts off the blood on the other side, or like allowing the other person to live. And this kid in Jigsaw kind of go back and forth until John just like grabs it and is just like waterboarding himself, so that way this kid doesn't live. Sorry, bloodboarding himself
Yeah.
while so this kid can live. And while this is happening, the dude and the girl are like, all right, let's go get our money, because, of course, John took all the money from these guys when,
Hmm.
he kidnapped them for the game. And they get upstairs, and that leads us into the final trap of the movie.
Yeah, the surprise, he booby trapped the main area where he was staying the whole time because he knew that they were gonna pull this on him and do the switcheroo. It's actually my film theory that Jigsaw was the only thing that went awry from his plan is that he kind of planned for Amanda to be on the other side of that instead of the boy.
Yes.
Because I don't think Jigsaw would ever plan for a little boy to be bloodboarded. Um,
No, he literally says didn't go exactly the way we planned it, but
yeah, but he did
it
plan
still
for
turned out the way in the
himself
end.
to end up on the bloodboarding and for them to sneak away and try to grab their money. Because as soon as they grab their money, the doors lock and it starts filling. The room starts filling with gas. It's like toxic, like burning gas, like acid
It's
gas, probably
radioactive. It's radioactive gas.
radioactive. Thanks. Um,
It's radioactive steam, basically.
right. So, and there's one hole that they can stick their heads out of. So there's literally like a fight to death, her boyfriend versus her, and only one of them gets to stick their head out and breathe the fresh air. And unsurprisingly, the lady stabs her boyfriend and sticks her head out, and she lives. And then Jigsaw and the boy and Amanda all walk out the door and leave her in there. Uh, my gripe with this, I think the ending here, uh, they bollocksed it. They floundered the
This is
ending.
my biggest gripe. This is
Is the ending,
my
yeah.
biggest gripe of the movie is the ending. Like I'm sure you saw me
Yeah, you were just
they
like,
do
what?
that.
Like you threw your arms like,
Oh,
yo,
like she did that. I'm
what is
like,
going on there?
that's it. Because what I was expecting was the old switcheroo of like, oh, like I didn't say that this would. I was expecting like something to happen and cut her head off or something, but no, she just lives.
Yeah. Um, my gripe with it is that because she's not going to be reformed by this trap. Like the other ones, they could
She
be like, I
isn't.
learned my lesson. I'm gonna be reformed. No, like she walks away. If she walks away alive, because I mean, people know that they're there. I think they prefaced that. They said someone will find the bodies, so someone will be there. She's just gonna immediately tell everyone who Jigsaw is and whatever. But like, I'm gonna offer here a better ending, a better solution that they could have done, and I will
Mhm.
allow Twisted Pictures to use it and do a reshoot. Maybe make like a director's cut, with an alternate ending based off of my idea here.
Mhm.
Completely the same, right? Completely the same. They go into the room, they trigger the thing, the exits seal off. The room starts filling with the toxic gas and whatever. The boyfriend pushes her off, like wounds her or whatever, sticks his head out the little hole there, and then like cranes his neck to the side so she can't pull him back out.
Mhm.
So he's like that, and then she gets mad. She gets up, and then she's trying to like yank him out the hole, but she can't because his head's at a weird angle. So he's stuck like that, and she ends up snapping his neck, killing him in the hole. So he's dead, and now she can't get him out, even if she
That
wanted
would
to,
have been a
because
much
his
better
neck is
ending.
because because they would have the opportunity for one of them to live, but then she, in her greed, fucked it up, got him killed, and now they both die. Because I like it. I like it when they have an opportunity to live, but you fucked it up, and now you died. So then she chokes on her own hubris, her own greed for her own life or whatever. She killed him. He's got his neck snapped, and now he's stuck in the porthole. So now there's nothing to do, and then she chokes out. She screams out for John Kramer, and then she dies. And then the three of them walk out happy on the end. I think that would have been much better if they both died, because she definitely did not deserve to live or walk away from this.
But that but now you say that, and I've had time to think about it since we saw this yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh, like like while yes, she didn't deserve to, that's Jigsaw's whole point. It's
Right, but she
John's
would.
whole point.
Right, but that's not she wouldn't be reformed by that. So even if his
No, I
point was
understand
yes, she
your
passed the thing, it wouldn't do anything. That
I
wouldn't
understand your
do
gripe.
Jigsaw's whole point.
No, I get that, but like earlier in the movie, like Amanda even says like she doesn't deserve to live. And he's like everyone deserves a chance.
Right, but
Like
her chance
the
was just
only
stick your head out
the
a hole
only
and kill your boyfriend that you don't even really care about. That's not gonna like
the
change her or give her
the
more insight or anything.
well, one,
It's
she
not
doesn't
it's not
have
a
it her
test
money anymore
really.
because he took it and ran away.
She's got like
My
millions of other dollars. She's been doing this for 8 years. She doesn't need that. She lives in a fucking glass house.
True. My other thing is that like, because Jigsaw's big thing is about like self-reflection.
Yeah, she's not going to
Like
reflect on
he's
herself
like,
at all in this. She's just gonna hate
I
Jigsaw.
mean, she's gonna reflect on the fact that he was right.
No,
Like
she's
he
not.
literally said, okay,
She's not
like
gonna
she's
reflect
not a
on
good
shit.
character. Like the problem is they made her too much of a cunt. Sorry, bitch. You can bleep that if you want.
No, I agree. But
Actually,
the thing is,
I don't know if we can say that on
right?
YouTube.
They,
But
I don't
anyway,
care.
they made her too irredeemable to the audience.
They made her too irredeemable, so she won't be able to redeem herself. So, the ergo, writing wise, she should have been killed off.
Yeah.
You know, consumed by her greed and her hubris and her pride, getting her killed in the end. But no, they just leave her with
Oh
her
yeah,
head stuck in the door.
we forgot about this. The whole
I didn't.
movie. Okay, yeah, the whole. We didn't bring this up. The whole movie, like, these people have their games, and she's sitting there like, "Come on, go ahead, do it." But then you find out that like later in the movie, like she was looking at them as just like she didn't want any of them to actually survive their game.
Yeah, she said the more people die, the less I have to split the paycheck.
So she was just saying that to get them to hurt themselves even more, hoping that they kill themselves in the process.
It's true. That's fucked up. Um.
And
So yeah, and
even
then
more fucked up, we have the scene that I'm gonna guess that you were about to bring up.
yeah, I was just gonna say we got an end credit scene in a Saw movie. That was only seen one other time, and most people don't even know about that.
Huh?
Exactly.
I don't know about this. What?
I think it was either Saw 3 or Saw 4. But remember, there's the fat guy, and then his wife, who's the doctor, who's trying to cure Jigsaw, and then they
Yeah.
kidnapped his daughter, the little girl. There's an end credit scene in one of those where Amanda sneaks off and visits the little girl in the cell, and she whispers to her not to trust the man who saves her, meaning Hoffman. They never come back to that. They never address that at all. That has no implication at all. I think there was more foreshadowing to the fact that Hoffman was blackmailing her, but I don't know. They didn't pay off that
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah, again, like it wasn't relevant a whole lot, but we got an end credit scene to this one. And speaking of Hoffman,
Yes.
he makes an appearance, which is not. He
Yes.
does not look as bad as Amanda did.
Well, because to be fair, he did already look kind of shitty in the original movies too. Like he wasn't like he
Yeah,
didn't look great. Like he wasn't like a handsome guy or anything like that. Like he.
yeah. No, but they
Yeah.
get one little trap. There was the guy who's his like cancer recovery group that turned Jigsaw to these people in the first place, and he was lying. Uh,
Not only
he said he.
Jigsaw. Like that was the thing, because you have to think
Oh yeah, he was
further
lying to
back in the movie.
everybody.
This dude was this dude was embedded in a cancer in like a cancer like help group or whatever support group.
I said that.
Like
Yeah,
they embedded fake cancer patients in support groups. Like oh my god. And
yeah.
then like they have them run into these people on the street later and then like say,
Recommend to
"Oh
save
yeah,
the
no,
month.
I did this thing and it healed me."
Yeah, so
Like,
he's
oh
got
my
him in the
god.
tra so he's got him actually in the original room from Saw 1, before anything even happens in there. And he's got this device on his chest that's down pointed towards where his quote unquote surgery scar was that doesn't exist, it's not real. And there's like knives and scalpels and shit just like undulating, like moving up and down towards him, and then he screams, it cuts to black. Um So
I
interesting
would have
that
liked to have seen that trap.
you did. There was knives. It was on his chest. It was undulating up and down, just like I said.
Mhm.
But in action, I know what you mean. But it's interesting that
Yeah.
like even now they're like going back and saying that, hey, uh, Dr. Gordon cutting off his foot, that wasn't even the first game played in the room. So that's interesting. Um,
Oh yeah, that is cool.
yeah. So aside from a few minor tonal and you know direction gripes, um yeah, I'd still say I enjoyed this. Like I thought the traps were definitely better than Spiral and Jigsaw, but I think
Mhm.
the twist aspect that Jigsaw movies are known for at the end, when you hear that music at the end, and you know that everything's
Yeah,
gonna start snapping into place. Yeah, they flubbed that so
they
hard in
nailed it.
this one.
Yeah, they
This
did.
one did not
Like the
have a
reveal
very
was
good reveal.
the reveal was great. The reveal was awesome, but then the ending execution was just not great. The follow through
Yeah, the follow
wasn't
through
there.
dropped.
But there was another scene. This end credit scene was actually not the scene I was talking about earlier. We forgot about a scene that
How do you
really
mean?
shows you like when you look back and see how brutal they were. So, and knowing that this scene was actually like it happening was integral to the story. So, when the first game is going on, they wheeled in a cart and it had a bunch like presumably their personal effects and stuff on it. And while Amanda after the first game, Amanda and Jigsaw are up in this room away, and a phone starts ringing. So they know there's a phone on the cart, and they're like, "Oh crap, we need to get to the cart, so we need to find something to get the cart close to us. We need a rope." And they
Oh
walk
yeah,
over to the now dead girl from the first thing, and the main chick, the evil chick, walks over and like takes this like sharp metal thing that she found, cuts open the girl and uses her intestines as a rope.
yeah. And then she like
Now,
passes it around to
honestly,
the other guys in the trap. I'm like, dude, don't like. This isn't a hot potato with some lady's intestines, dude.
this scene, that was the scene in the movie that made me go,
Yeah, I didn't
ah,
like that either.
like
I'm like,
that's
she's a
that
fucking
was
crazy bitch.
yeah, no, like I was like,
She's a
ugh.
the Isaac noise. Huh. You say that
Yeah,
every time a camera tilts slightly to the side or upside down, you just go. Huh.
hey, okay.
Anyways,
I
um,
have it's not my fault. I have motion problems.
yeah. So not the best movie in the franchise, but I don't think it's the worst either. I'm just
No,
glad
I'd
all in all.
say
I'm just glad all in all that we got another movie with John Kramer in it before Tobin Bell gets too old to be alive.
yeah, like that was very nice. I kind of wish Amanda hadn't been in the movie, but I understand why Amanda had to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Like Amanda
All right.
being in the movie was actually integral to the plot, so I'll give it a pass.
Unfortunately. All right. I think we should wrap this
So,
up because we've been going at it a pretty long time and just get straight to the rankings.
yep.
I'll let you go first once again.
So, despite the gripes that you have, now honestly, the gripes that you had about the movie didn't really affect me. Like I didn't notice them until you brought them up just now. But they don't really affect my score. I'm gonna give this an 8.
Nice.
Like
Not
I
gonna give it an A.
actually I
Give it a 10, just to stay
uh,
on the.
no, it does the movie does not deserve a 10. It really doesn't. Like but I'm gonna give it an 8. Like this was very this was very good. This was a very good Saw movie. Like I'm gonna put I put this one I'm gonna put this one at like at least my fourth favorite.
Nice.
My third or fourth favorite.
Yeah.
Like, this was very good. Plus, I even turned to you and said this in the theater. This was one of the best. Like, this was a very well themed game.
Yeah.
Like that we see in like 5 and 6. Like 5 and 6, the whole thing. Like 7 kind of had it with stuff, but like mostly like 5 and 6 really had good like themed games. Like the whole thing, overarching thing, was very well done. And this, the theme of surgery was very very well done in the traps in this game.
Yeah.
And I thought I really like that, so I'm gonna give it an 8.
Nice. Okay. For me, I'm gonna have to give this a very high 7. Um, it could have
That's
been an
fair.
8. It could have been an 8. It really could have, but that ending is I just can't get over that ending. It left a bad taste in my mouth. It was good the whole way through, but then that ending, it was just kind of like you're the writers. You could have killed her.
Yeah.
You could have killed
Honestly,
her.
I am
You
gonna
wrote the
point out
movie. You could have killed her.
when I say it's an 8, it's like an 80. Like in a scale of 1 to 100, it's an 80.
No, I'm not
Like it's
trying to
not
bring
higher,
down
it's
your
an
score.
80.
I'm just saying, like I felt the ending was disappointing enough that it kept it from being an 8 for me. Um,
No, that's fair.
Sad to
I, I'm
say.
just I I'm just pointing out the fact that I am upset about the ending. It's just I the sound design and the fact
Dude,
that a
your
lot of
turn
it
is
was
over.
done practically. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
You had your chance to complain about the ending. Now it's mine.
Okay, fine.
I rewrote the ending while I was in the shower. That's how disappointing it was. I was in the shower and I wrote a better ending in my brain. It's like, I know you had the strikes, but you could have hit me up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
All right.
then you get yelled at for being a scab.
I don't know what that means.
Good.
Um, I would say anyone who would call me that is a big bubble blowing baby.
Mm.
It's like,
A scab is basically anyone who would work for the companies during the strikes. Someone who would break the protest line pretty much.
ah. Yeah, I stand by what I said.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping this up. Um, yeah, pretty interesting week. I mean,
Yeah, no.
semi disappointing week, but pretty interesting all the way
Yeah.
around. um, Taking a look at what we have lined up for next week, we are going to kick it off with the brand new Exorcist Believer. Isaac and I are going to refresh ourselves on the original Exorcist, and then we are going to check out to see what the new one's like. I'm already on the fence, at least a little bit. Like, I got one toe up on the bottom rung of the fence because the second trailer for Exorcist Believer, they changed one of the lines because they had in the original one they had like the girl say God played a trick on you, but then now they had like scary. They dubbed it over in scary demon voice, and that is marginally worse. Um, Anyways, then we are going to roll it into, because it's the spooky month and because Isaac begged me to. We are going to go see the 30th anniversary of 30th anniversary, I think.
30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, of Hocus Pocus. I personally do not care for Hocus Pocus. I do not like it. I do not hate it. It is just a movie that exists. I have no nostalgia for it. I have no feelings one way or the other for it. But Isaac likes it, and it's cool to see movies retro movies being brought back to the theater. So I wouldn't mind. And then Isaac, what are we rounding this off with?
Vindicta.
That's right, Vindicta. This one is
I
under
don't know a
both
whole
of
lot
our.
about the movie, honestly.
That's the point. This movie is completely under both of our radars because all we know is about the three people on the front, which is the kid from Goonies. I forget his name.
John Astin.
Sean Astin. Yep.
He is Samwise Gamgee, my dude. Like,
No, he's the kid from Goonies.
fair enough.
Na, 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 na. And then it's got that tiny head bitch that I complained about in the drunk Children of the Corn thing. That actually went up today. As of recording this, that went up today, this morning.
Nice.
Nice. Isaac, you should watch that since you hadn't seen the whole movie now, so now you can see the visual clips of what I was talking about playing out in real time.
Oh, you actually did all that? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to, actually.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Dude, we should watch party it in Discord.
We should with Alex, yeah.
Nice.
One of these nights. Maybe tomorrow night.
Yeah. Sadly, we are probably not going to get around to Expendables 4, seeing as we still have not watched the second or third one. We have both tried independently to watch the second one and just Isaac fell asleep, and then I was working, so I couldn't pay attention to it, so I put on something else. So sadly, that one's gonna have to wait until streaming service rolls around, whatever one it lands on. So yeah, next week, Exorcist Believer, Hocus Pocus, and Vindicta. It's gonna be rather interesting.
All right.
All right, that'll do it for this week's Cinema Regulars. So
See you at the movies.
see you at the movies. That's a wrap. Roll credits.